Hello and welcome to Question Hour, a unique show where we get you all the details of questions asked by the members and replies given by the government through ministries and departments. I'm your host, Rajat KAIN, joined with my colleague, KRITI MISHRA.
Thank you so much, Rajat. And as you know, that Question Hour is a very important tool in India's parliamentary democracy, as it gives an opportunity to the members of both houses of parliament, Rajya Sabha as well as Lok Sabha, to question the government, to seek accountability, to fix accountability of the respective departments and the ministries. And there are different types of questions: the start questions, the unstart questions, and also the short notice ones. The start questions are those questions of which response is given orally on the floor of the House by the minister, and the members can also raise supplementaries.
Meanwhile, the other categories, the unstart questions, where answers are deemed to be laid on the table of the House at the end of the proceedings. And our show, Question Hour, pertains to unstart questions asked by the members and reply given by the government. Well, what is a procedure as to how these questions are asked by the members, how they end up from the members' table to the ministries, and finally they're answered through secretariat and laid on the floor of the upper house. Here is a small presentation. A member submits his or her questions at least 15 days before the office of Rajya Sabha chairman. The Rajya Sabha secretariat chooses the questions to be answered through a draw of ballots. Separate ballots are held for start and unstart questions. The questions are scrutinized for admissibility under the current rules and precedents. Advance copies of chosen questions are sent to ministry or departments concerned. The ministry concerns collect information to prepare the reply. The minister concerned reply to start questions on the floor of the House and provides written answers to unstart questions. Up to 160 unstart questions are listed every day in a separate list.
So there you saw the entire procedure, and now we'll begin the show and get you all the important unstart questions asked by the members of the upper house during the previous monsoon session, or the 252nd session of the Rajya Sabha. Rajat, let's commence the show. And the first question in this edition of the Question Hour show is from MP ANIL AGRAWAL, and this question is to the Ministry of Rural Development. And the member has asked the government about the measures to create farm and non-farm jobs across the country, and particularly in the state of Uttar Pradesh.
Well, Kriti, it's a very important question, and answer is given by Minister of Rural Development, Narendra Singh Tomar. In the reply, the minister says that government is working with state governments while working on creating several avenues of employment at the rural level, and they have also introduced several initiatives for this. Well, the government says that more opportunities in rural areas have been created through multitude of interventions, which include interventions in the farm and allied sectors, non-farm including small and cottage industries sector and service sectors beside the social sectors. The programs that directly address the concern or the creation of livelihood and employment under Ministry of Rural Development include Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, National Rural Livelihood Mission, and Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantees Scheme. Well, Deen Dayal Upadhyay NRLM recognizes that the poor have multiple livelihood, and its thrust is on enhancing and expanding the existing livelihood of poor. More than 70% of rural poor are dependent on agriculture, either as cultivators or as agricultural labor. Besides, livestock rearing is again a key livelihood of the poor. In forest fringe areas, non-timber forest produces a major livelihood of poor who mostly belong to tribal communities. The intervention strategy of the NRLM for farm-based livelihood promotion is focused on strengthening these key farm livelihood of the poor. The NRLM has taken up several farm livelihood interventions, which include Mahila Kisan Sashaktikaran Prayojana. Mahila Kisan Sashakti Prayojana is getting implemented with total 2,39,820 households trained on agroecological practices and sustainable livestock practices. Under farm livelihood convergence with Manrega, 12,522 women households are covered. There are 4,690 compost pits, 2,982 cattle sheds, 2,098 poultry sheds, 2,063 goatry sheds, and 689 nursery individuals households beneficiaries covered under the scheme. Further, 2,23,300 households are under identification and supported within this financial year 2020-21. Balini Milk Producer Company Limited, under the Bundelkhand Dairy Value Chain Development Program supported by NDS or National Dairy Development Board, around 11,000 milk producers of Bundelkhand region have been encompassed by Balini Milk Producer Company Limited headquarter at Jhansi. Agri-nutrition garden during financial year 2019-20, 15,898 households have adopted agri-nutrition garden during the financial year 2019-20 as promoted by Prerna Poshan Vatika, promising nutrition security to individual households. Community managed producer groups, 1,200 community managed producer groups encompassing 22,500 households have been formed in 1,200 villages for promoting sustainable livelihood generation at the village level. Farm Ajivika Sakshi or Krishi Sakhi Pashu Sakhi. 904 Farm Ajivika Sakhi, that is community cadre, are active at village level as taken in 1920 and adding up to existing 5,500 including Krishi Sakshi and 910 Pashu Sakshi cadre of Farm Livelihood Division. Farmer producer companies. Now under MKSP program, 3 farm produce companies have been developed in Gorakhpur, Hardoi and Prayagraj districts of UP. Livestock training in convergence with Department of Animal Husbandry, Government of UP. Under livestock training, a total of 34,336 Pashu Palaks with Department of Animal Husbandry have been trained on cattle rearing, poultry and goatry, and vaccination campaign have been organized in the villages. Non-farm interventions. Principal interventions in non-farm sector under Deen Dayal Upadhyay NRLM is that of Startup Village Entrepreneurship Program. It's a sub-scheme under Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana National Rural Livelihood Mission with an objective to help the rural poor women under NRLM ecosystem to set up enterprises at the village level in non-farm sector. The SVEP is a demand-driven scheme that there is no specific allocation for any selected states or union territory. States and UTs submit supplementary annual action plans for the identified blocks of approval and implementation of the schemes. SVEP proposals have been approved in 153 blocks across 23 states. The detailed project report has been approved for 137 blocks and the total number of enterprises approved as per DPR is 2,14,000. As on 31st July 2020, a total of 1,100,792 enterprises have been set up across 23 states. These enterprises are estimated to have generated an employment of 2,10,709 persons with different categories like face masks making, sanitizer making, hand wash manufacturing, personal protective kits making, school uniform stitching. And in the year 2020-21, the SVEP scheme intends to cover 30 additional blocks across the country.
And Rajat, member who asked this very important question, Mr. Anil Agarwal, is joining us on the Question Hour show. So during the previous session of Rajya Sabha, you'd asked a very important question from the Rural Development Minister on farm and non-farm job creation. The government has given a detailed reply. What is your take on government's response?
नहीं, देखिए माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी देश में किसानों की आय दुगनी करने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध हैं और वो दिन रात चिंतित रहते हैं कि देश के किसानों की आय बढ़े, एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर में ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा रोजगार आए, ये उनकी प्राथमिकता में है। आज किसान को अपनी ट्रेडिशनल खेती के साथ साथ टेक्नोलॉजी की मदद लेनी पड़ेगी और उनको फूड प्रोसेसिंग के फील्ड में भी आना पड़ेगा। बहुत अच्छा स्कोप है, बहुत अच्छा इसमें मार्केट है। हिंदुस्तान की आबादी के हिसाब से अगर देखा जाए तो यहाँ फूड प्रोसेसिंग में अभी बहुत गुंजाइश है। फार्मर्स अपनी सोसाइटी बना के फूड प्रोसेसिंग यूनिट लगा सकते हैं। गांव में छोटे छोटे जो सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप्स हैं, दे आर डूइंग वंडरफुल। मैं अभी पिछले दिनों एक गांव में गया तो मैंने देखा गांव की कुछ महिलाएं अचार और मुरब्बे का उन्होंने बनाने का काम किया, एंड देखते देखते 1 साल में उन सबकी आर्थिक स्थिति बहुत अच्छी हुई। हमारे यहाँ उत्तर प्रदेश में माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी ने 1 डिस्ट्रिक्ट 1 प्रोडक्ट के माध्यम से हर ज़िले में बहुत अच्छे अच्छे कार्य शुरू कराए हैं। जैसे उदाहरण के लिए मैं लूँ, प्रतापगढ़ एक ऐसा ज़िला है उत्तर प्रदेश का जो काफ़ी रिमोट और इंटीरियर है, अभी उतना विकसित नहीं है, लेकिन वहाँ आंवले की खेती जो है वो बहुत अधिक होती है। आंवला आप सब जानते हैं, उसके मुरब्बा भी बनता है, उसका जो जूस है वो बहुत लाभदायक है। इस प्रकार से उनको खेती के साथ साथ अपने प्रोडक्ट्स को मार्केट में और अधिक सेलेबल और अच्छी कॉस्ट बनाने का कार्य ये माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी करा रहे हैं। फूड प्रोसेसिंग मिनिस्ट्री इसमें हेल्प कर रही है। किसान भाइयों को भी पूसा के माध्यम से और बहुत सारी हमारी जो एग्रीकल्चर यूनिवर्सिटीज़ हैं, रिसर्च सेंटर हैं, उनके माध्यम से फसल को बढ़ाने का कार्य कराया जा रहा है। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने पिछले संसद के सत्र में जो बहुत ही बहुप्रतीक्षित बिल थे किसानों की आय बढ़ाने के लिए, वो लेके आए हैं, और मुझे पूर्ण यकीन है कि जो बिचौलियों की जो बीच की कमीशनबाजी थी वो घटेगी और किसान को इससे सीधा लाभ होगा।
So any specific suggestion to the government in this regard?
नहीं, देखिए, फार्मर्स के लिए तो ये ज़रूरी है कि वो अच्छा बीज अपना डालें, और आजकल हम लोग हर जगह जो एग्रीकल्चर सेंटर्स हैं वो उनकी लैंड जो है उसकी टेस्टिंग कर रहे हैं, उसमें कौन सी फसल अच्छी हो सकती है, कौन सा फर्टिलाइज़र डालना है, कौन सा नहीं डालना है। ये सब चीज़ें इस प्रकार की हैं जिससे किसान की जो फर्टिलाइज़र की कॉस्ट है वो घटेगी और उत्पादकता बढ़ेगी, और उस फसल को आप जब सेकंड स्टेज में लेके जाते हैं, फूड प्रोसेसिंग में लेके जाते हैं, तो उससे आपकी आय और बढ़ती है। तो ये दोनों काम ऐसे हैं जो किसान भाइयों को करने चाहिए। बहुत सारी ट्रेडिशनल खेती के बजाय आज जो लोग दूसरे जो एडवांस टेक्नोलॉजी से और नई नई फसलें उगा रहे हैं उनमें बहुत अच्छा प्रॉफिट आ रहा है। जैसे आजकल ऑर्गेनिक जो फार्मिंग है उसको बहुत प्रमोट किया जा रहा है, और ऑर्गेनिक खेती से जो प्रोडक्ट प्रोड्यूस हो रहे हैं वो जो रूटीन मार्केट प्रोडक्ट हैं उससे 2 गुना 2.5 गुना तक पे बिक रहे हैं, और लोग खुश हैं उन प्रोडक्ट्स को अधिक कॉस्ट पे भी खरीदने के बाद। तो ये सारी चीज़ें ऐसी हैं जिसको माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी चाहते हैं कि देश के किसान उसको अपनाएं, आने वाली जो समय में अच्छा बीज डालें, अच्छी टेक्नोलॉजी का उपयोग करें ताकि उनकी आय बढ़े। नहीं, देखिए, किसान आज भी अधिकांश जो है वो ग्रामीण क्षेत्र में रहता है, और जब उस क्षेत्र के किसान के पास पैसा आएगा तो निश्चित रूप से उसको लाभ होगा। वो मार्केट जो मनी है वो रूरल मार्केट में रिवॉल्व होता है, वो वहाँ पे लगता है। सरकारें मंडी के माध्यम से और भी जो हमारे प्रधानमंत्री रोजगार योजना है और प्रधानमंत्री सड़क योजना है उसके माध्यम से गांव-गांव तक सड़कें बनाई जा रही हैं, हर ग्राम पंचायत में इंटरनेट फैसिलिटी दी जा रही है। तो ये सारी चीज़ें ऐसी हैं जो निश्चित रूप से किसानों का भविष्य बेहतर करेंगी, और किसान की आय भी बढ़ेगी, गांव खुशहाल होगा, और किसानों का और गांव के लोगों का जो शहर में आना है जारी, जो पलायन हो रहा है, वो पलायन भी रुकेगा।
Well, thank you for joining us and sharing that perspective with us.
Well, moving on to next question that was asked by member Neeraj Dangi from Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. The member sought details of any plan or the proposal by the government so as to push or to have more investment in the new and renewable energy sector.
And the response has been given by Power Minister R.K. Singh, and he says that the government has set a target of installing 175 gigawatts of renewable energy in the country. And this target has to be completed by the year 2022. As against this target, a cumulative renewable energy capacity of 88.79 gigawatts has been installed in the country up to August 2020. Most of the grid-connected renewable energy projects in the country are being implemented by the private sector developers selected through transparent, competitive bidding process. The initiatives taken by the government to encourage investment in the country in the field of renewable energy include permitting foreign direct investment, which is FDI, up to 100% under the automatic route. Mandating requirement of letter of credit, which is LC, as payment security mechanism by distribution licensees for ensuring timely payments to RE generators. Setting of ultra-mega renewable energy parks to provide land and transmission on plug-and-play basis. Waiver of interstate transmission mission charges and losses for interstate sale of solar and wind power for projects to be commissioned by 30th of June 2023. Notification of standard bidding guidelines to enable distribution licensee to procure solar and wind power at competitive rates. Declaration of trajectory of renewable purchase obligation up to the year 2022. Laying of transmission lines under Green Energy Corridor scheme for evacuation of power in renewable rich areas. Setting up of project development cell for attracting and facilitating investments in domestic manufacturing. And loans limits for renewable energy has been increased or doubled in RBI's revised priority sector lending guidelines. And now let's move on to the next question, and this one has been asked by member P. Bhattacharya, and this question is to the Ministry of Science and Technology. And the member has asked about the steps taken by the government to attract youth towards science and technology.
Well, a fairly voluminous reply has been given by the Ministry of Science and Technology, and here the ministry says that the government of the day has several plans, and they also encourage the students' interest or participation towards science and technology. In the reply given by Science and Technology Minister Dr. Harshvardhan, the minister says that it has been part of government science and technology policy to encourage students, youth of the country towards field of science and technology. The first three key elements of science, technology and innovation policy of 2013 are promoting the spread of scientific temper amongst all sections of society, enhancing skill for application of science among young from all social strata, making careers in science, research and innovation attractive enough for talented and bright minds. Government is implementing several schemes to encourage students, youth of the country towards field of science and technology. The innovation in science pursued for inspired research or INSPIRE is a major scheme in operation to attract, motivate, nurture and train talented and meritorious students to study science subjects and opt for careers in research and development to build pipeline of equality manpower, thereby widening the R&D manpower base of the country. Close to 42,000 young students of class 6th to 10th received the INSPIRE Award, MANAK, that is Million Minds Augmenting National Aspiration and Knowledge, per year from all recognized schools across the country. About 20,000 students per year attend INSPIRE internship camps to experience the joys of creative pursuit of science. About 10,000 students in top 1% of class 12 board examination receive scholarship for higher education every year to pursue BSc and MSc courses in basic and natural science. Every year about 1,000 students are availing INSPIRE fellowship for pursuing the PhD degree. 100 young researchers per year are availing INSPIRE faculty fellowship to establish themselves as independent postdoctoral researchers. In order to attract and motivate young students, several international programs are also being implemented by Department of Science and Technology, such as Lindo Meeting with Nobel Laureates, Asian Science Camps, Raman Charpak Fellowship, Sakura Exchange programs and others. Autonomous institutions in DST family also train large number of summer research interns, PhD and postdoctoral fellows, organized large number of important national and international conferences, outreach programs to schools and college students, including lectures by the scientist, orientation program, amongst others. The Science and Engineering Research Board, that is SERB, a statutory body of DST, supports young researchers in a big way through early career grants, core research grants, doctoral and postdoctoral fellowships, among others. Some of notable programs targeted at young scientists include National Postdoctoral Fellowship, Startup Research Grant, the Prime Minister Fellowship for Doctoral Research, Swarn Jayanti Fellowships, among others. These schemes are designed to identify promising young researchers and provide them with training and research opportunities in frontier areas of science and engineering. Close to 250 young researchers receive national postdoctoral fellowships annually. Majority of 500 scientists supported under Startup Research Grant have been budding young researchers who take up high-end research and development in the country. There are 100 slots of fellowship available annually to researchers to pursue PhD in partnership with industry under PM Fellowship for doctoral research. The Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, that is CSIR, has been providing doctoral and postdoctoral fellowship to young and budding researchers throughout its various fellowship programs. Now, these programs include Junior Research Fellowship National Eligibility Test, that is JRF NET, Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Fellowship, Senior Research Fellowship, Research Associateship and CSIR Nehru Science Postdoctoral Research Fellowship. Annually, CSIR offers about 4,500 to 5,000 such fellowships to young students who are going to be future scientists. At any given time, CSIR supports about 8,000 to 9,000 young researchers in the pursuit for doctoral and postdoctoral research in the field of science and technology. The Department of Biotechnology has implemented Integrated Human Resource Development Program in Biotechnology, including Star College Scheme for strengthening of undergraduate science education, postdoctoral teaching program, DBT Junior Research Fellowship Program, DBT Research Associateship and DBT Biotechnology Industry Training, that is apprenticeship program in areas of biotechnology and life sciences. Government has taken several steps to promote affordable, sustainable innovations in the field of science and technology. DST initiated a new program in the year 2016 called Promoting and Accelerating Young and Aspiring Technology Entrepreneurs, or PRAYAS, under National Initiative for Developing and Harnessing Innovations, that is NIDHI, within the objective to support conversion of an innovative idea into working prototype developed by an innovator. This program is aimed to attract large number of young innovators who demonstrate problem-solving zeal and abilities, and also to enhance the pipeline in terms of quality and number of innovative startups to the incubators. This will build up vibrant innovative ecosystem by establishing a network of innovators, academia, mentors and incubators. Well, moving on to last question of this edition of the show, that was asked by member Abdul Wahab from Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. The member sought what steps has been taken so as to assure that private hospitals do not charge or overcharge from COVID-19 patients.
And this response has been given by MOS Health and Family Welfare, Ashwini Chaubey, and he says that the government has taken several steps to control, prevent and mitigate the impact of COVID-19 pandemic. India followed a whole of government and whole of society approach. Prime Minister, a high-level group of ministers, Cabinet Secretary, Committee of Secretaries and senior officials of Ministry of Health and Family Welfare continue to monitor public health response to COVID-19 in the country. The public health actions were taken in a preemptive, proactive, graded manner based on the evolving scenario. A number of travel advisories were issued restricting inflow of international travellers till such time commercial flights were suspended on 23rd of March 2020. Till then, a total of 14,154 flights with 15,24,266 passengers have been screened at these airports. Screening was also done at 12 major and 65 minor ports and land borders crossing. In the initial part of the pandemic, India evacuated a large number of stranded passengers from then COVID-19 affected countries like China, Italy, Iran, Japan, Malaysia, and again in the unlock phase. A total of 12,43,176 passengers have been brought back, and this was till 9th of September 2020. Integrated Disease Surveillance Program is conducting contact tracing through community surveillance. In the earlier part of the pandemic, this was done for travel-related cases and subsequently for cases being reported from community as a part of containment strategy. As on 10th of September 2020, a total of about 40 lakh persons have been kept under surveillance. There are 1,697 labs conducting COVID-19 testing. India is testing about 1 million samples a day. A total of 5.4 crore samples have been tested so far as on 10th of September 2020. As on 10th of September 2020, a total of 15,290 COVID treatment facilities with 13,14,171 dedicated isolation bed with O2 support, which is oxygen support, have been created. Also, a total of 2,31,2 269 oxygen-supported isolation beds and 62,694 ICU beds, including 32,241 ventilator beds. Guidelines on clinical management of COVID-19 has been issued and they are being updated regularly. States are being supported in terms of supply of logistics, and so far 1.39 crore of PPE kits, 3.42 crore N95 masks, 10.84 crore tablets of hydroxychloroquine and 29,779 ventilators and 1,02,400 oxygen cylinders have been supplied to states, UTs or central government hospitals as on 10th of September 2020. Various cadres of personnel and volunteers across sectors and departments for COVID-related work and maintenance of other essential medical services have been worked out, trained through resources made available on the website of Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, also on online platform by DOPT. The Ministry's website is being daily updated to provide general public with information on current status of COVID-19 spread in India. Communication material is also being hosted on Ministry's website and through social media. A dedicated call center helpline, which is 1075, has been started to guide community at large, which are being used by the citizens very effectively and on a regular basis.
Well, that's it in this edition of Question Hour. You can also watch all our programs in an online platform of YouTube and also follow our Twitter handle to get the latest from Rajya Sabha TV.
Thanks for watching the Question Hour show. Stay tuned to us. Take care and stay safe. Goodbye.